welcome to Gab and Jam episode 61.
Wow.
And you probably can tell what the topic is today, that it is something Western inspired from the hat here. Our topic today is Old Town Road, #1 for 8 weeks on the
Billboard music charts.
Billboard music charts.
As of, it was, the beginning of this, last week.
Okay.
Which would have been Memorial Day weekend or whatever,
yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So beginning that week, it was number 8, and that was, even though there were new releases from Ed Sheeran and Justin Bieber, a new release from Taylor Swift, featuring somebody from Fall Out Boy or Panic at the Disco, one of those. And so, notwithstanding that, from these established pop acts, Old Town Road hung in there at #1.
Okay, and so the question remains, it's all the rage now.
Riding on my horse, going on the horse, whatever else is that? Nobody tell me nothing.
Yeah, okay, you gonna get it. All right, so let's start at the top. Old Town Road. I got quite a few points I jotted down earlier about this. The first controversy was it jumping up onto the Billboard. Not Billboard, but the country charts.
Yeah, it was Billboard country.
Country.
Yeah, it was
okay.
the Billboard country charts. So it charted on the Billboard country charts.
And what was the problem with that?
And so that it depends on how you look at it.
Okay.
So if you're a country purist, you look at it and you say this isn't really country music, and so therefore it's not appropriately placed on the country chart. And then if you're a person who kind of feels like there's a little bit of conspiracy going on there, then you start saying, well, maybe it's because this came from a black artist.
Or because it's a rapper. I mean, it could be a rap bias, it could be a black bias.
Now, the thing I don't know is that Body Like a Front Black Road.
Yeah.
I think that was also a country song.
Right, but was he specifically a rapper?
No, I'm saying that guy was a country artist.
Gotcha, but
I don't know why you can't, as a country artist or whatever, make a country song.
Right.
So that means that since Lionel Richie is an R&B artist, that he can't write a country song for Kenny Rogers called Lady, that charts on the country charts, and then also crosses over to the pop charts.
Right.
So if you're saying if Lionel Richie sings the same song, it's no longer that. I mean, so
that's been a controversy kind of brewing on other fronts as well.
Right.
So
but in defense of the country. The people who are country purists, they would say, oh, no. You've had Charlie Pride, you've had Darius Rucker, you've had other black artists who have charted on the country charts. So no, this is seriously not an issue.
It's about elements. What the article I read, which I linked below, Vulture magazine, they mentioned that it didn't have enough country music elements, whatever that meant.
Right.
And somebody joked that he's not playing guitar, but there are country artists who are guitarists.
Right. So what can you tell us about how he put together this song?
Okay, so let me go back. According to the Vulture blog post article, he bought a beat from a European artist off one of those sites where you buy beats for $30, and he put lyrics on it based on him and his mom's fight about him dropping out of college.
And you said the beat had a sample, and it had a sample from what?
A sample from 9 Inch Nails. It was a banjo sample, according to this article.
So we have a banjo trope.
Yeah.
That is definitely country music kind of thing,
right?
And then he's riding on my horse.
Yeah, so he was using symbolism, country symbolism.
So he has the country symbolism.
Yes.
So he has the cowboy aspect
the road,
to it.
the town,
right. And arguably there's a melody there. So and then I think to solidify this point, we had Billy Ray Cyrus added to this.
Yes.
Singing the main hook of the song, right?
Yes, did a remix and sang part.
Right, and I think it's really the Billy Ray Cyrus version that is just tearing up the charts right now.
Right, because now it's the support.
And then there was other country artists that have also done versions of this song, showing that there is a melody in this song. So and a very, I think, arguably a country type of melody that's attached to the song. So in that sense, I don't see why it's not considered a country. You might not like it,
right?
But
and so that goes to the question of why it's such an uproar. Not only did it have the chart issue with the country, the genre, not being sure what genre, but it has been wildly popular, probably because of this, and pushing him, pushing the song out so that people could hear whether or not it's country. So massive distribution.
Yeah.
But then also massively people supporting it. I know the rap kids, the hip hop rap kids love it. Right. Everywhere I go, kids are walking around singing this song, playing this song.
Right, and I think the problem is with it kind of shoots back to a deeper problem with the record industry, which is that the record industry is really shaped and guided by what's popular. And so I think that regular artists, country artists who are out there who see this phenomenon happen, and you see a guy like Lil Nas X who, might be someone who doesn't have any type of musical training, can't play an instrument, can't do all the rest of these type of things, going to the top of your charts, and, you got these people that's down in Nashville that's in songwriting groups that are writing these songs.
They're spending gajillion dollars.
No pun intended, but they're shaking in their boots, about, what the hell does this mean?
For a future of what I do, my craft.
Does this start to change things as now we start opening this up to a whole another group of artists.
Right, that we didn't have to compete with before.
Right, and so this kind of brings to this other point, which is that what you need to have within the record industry is for the Grammys to almost serve the same purpose that the Oscars serves in the film industry.
Okay,
and that is that the Oscars, reward stuff that's artistically creative and artistically, off the beaten path and stuff that the general public doesn't get. And the record industry hasn't embraced that ethos.
Right.
And so there isn't you don't see a clamor to make records that will just be critically acclaimed.
No.
Whereas there's a clamor to make movies that will be critically acclaimed,
even if it's not commercially successful.
Right. So you release those during the Oscar time. Normally they don't say that. They don't do those releases for the summer with the blockbuster season. They do that during a certain time, during the January, February time frame. And to me, that's almost what you gotta think about doing. And this might be too late for the record industry. Record industry.
It can reshape itself.
Well, and then on the other side, I'm saying is that the record industry has now become this true democracy. It's like even with the United States, we don't have a true democracy. We have a representative republic. Right. So you don't necessarily have the inmates running the asylum. Whereas with the record industry, whether they like it or not, the inmates are running the asylum.
What do you mean?
That meaning that you got the crazy people, meaning the public, are saying, hey, look, this is what we like.
Right, give
and
me
what we
that.
like is what drives everything.
Right.
And then not only that, you get people from the inmates who are making the music.
Yeah.
And you can't control what's going out there and they're putting it out.
According to this Vulture article, it was not formally released as a country release, so they went and grabbed the DJs, country DJs, went and grabbed it off of YouTube, and started playing it, which is like throwing a shoe in the system. It just disrupts things.
Which in a way you gotta kind of really like that.
Yeah, we do, because that's back to our DIY rockstar thing. You gotta put it out there, and there is an opportunity for somebody to grab it up. And somebody who this is his only record. Right, it is. He made it for $30. Right. He didn't have any
20 years old.
Right, didn't have any outside writers, didn't have any endorsements, didn't have a dad that was in the music business. Right. He just put it out there, and they happened to grab it.
And it's a phenomenon.
It's
caught fire. So and to me, you've got to respect that. The problem is that, the rules are going out the window. Right. And it's truly becoming anarchy, And I think for people who have studied music, who have thought about doing this in a certain way, and there's a certain amount of feeling like, well, this isn't fair.
Right.
You know, I put in all this time practicing, making sure my vocals are right, making sure I can do this, make sure I can record stuff correctly, and, you know, then all of a sudden, here comes this song.
Right.
And, you know, I can't even get played.
Right, and it wasn't, it was... We've been breaking the rules for a while now with rap becoming mumble rap, which kind of breaks all the rules of...
Well, rap within itself breaks
originally, but I'm saying there was a way, you know, originally when they first set it up.
What I'm saying is that rap is usually, a lot of times, music made by non-musicians.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, by non-traditional musicians. People playing instruments that aren't what you would say are traditional instruments, you know, as much as they're programming machines. And so within that, that's what rap kind of evolved from, or DJs who were, you know, scratching, making records. So it's almost like if you are a collage artist and, you know, and the people who are, you know, painting stuff, they're like, you're competing with them. Right. You know, and that's the part that I think has scared people. So, and I think for the longest, you know, country was insulated from this, you know, from rap and what was going on with rap that has kind of taken over R&B and pop music. Right. They were kind of insulated from this, and I think they feel like this is one of those intrusions into their territory.
I think it's a slippery slope because, like you said, country artists had incorporated some rap elements, so they already had opened the door.
Right. And then the latest thing I've heard on Volume, or the other pushback, is that another problem they were having with Old Country Road is that he's appropriating cowboy culture, kind of like what you're doing here today. So
I love cowboy stuff. So this is perfect for me. I love Native American and
some of the original cowboys were African American. So the fact that they're saying that, I mean, come on, dude. Yeah. You gotta know your own history. Right. Well, we were more than just slaves.
And they don't want to hear that.
Right. So I know we want to say that that's all we did was we came over and just did what Master said, but no.
Oh my God.
We were all over the place.
Wow. Okay, so what do you think? Yeah. Are you in favor of this new opening the door, let all the floodgates open for all? We talked about this before with the genres episode, so if you haven't, go back and check out that episode. But are you in favor of them just throwing open the floodgates and letting anybody come in and bend the genre without any, without any pull, any clout, anybody vetting it or anything like that? Right. Or do you feel that they should follow this prescribed list of criteria in order to put it on the Billboard chart? Because as you can see, it only busted it wide open.
Or not just the Billboard chart. It's sort of like just popular music, period. Yeah. You know, I mean, there are no gatekeepers anymore.
Right. So how do you feel about that? Do you feel like that's a good thing, or do you prefer when you were able to turn on the radio and kind of be assured that what you were hearing was quality music? Right, yes. And that's a discussion for a whole nother day. It is. But, okay, if you want to hear more about genres, we've just done an episode about that. We also, we did one about the Grammys, who deserves a Grammy, and this kind of ties into that discussion too. Yeah. And if you want to know more, if you're a DIY artist, this is a great DIY example. Yeah. Go join our Be the Next DIY Facebook group, and we share different techniques, strategies, resources for building your own empire with DIY music. Right. So, what's coming up next for us?
The Gear Fest, right?
Gear Fest. Oh my goodness, in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, right?
2 weeks, Gear Fest. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So 2.5 weeks,
somewhere up in there.
Right around the corner,
so
wow.
2 or 3 weeks, yeah.
Okay, so if you're interested in meeting up, we have a link below. Come check us out. We can jam, we can hang out, shake hands.
Yeah, did our registration not too long ago.
So we'll see you at Gear Fest. And then we're going to London this summer, somewhere in August. So So if you'd like to meet us there, make sure you click the link and let us know you're coming. We'll reserve a spot for you. Yeah. Other than that, if you dig the vibe, make sure you
subscribe.
As always, we're wishing you love, peace, and
chicken grease.
Yay. Good boy.